Hey, Greg, it's Mike.
Awesome. Good talking to you.
You too. I appreciate it. So I'll
Oh,
just
yeah, no problem.
jump right into it, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you got the picture I sent you?
I do not. Let me look.
Okay.
Is it on a text?
Yeah, the same. I texted this phone.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Okay,
Got
so
it.
that's me right now. I'm at 194 pounds,
Got it.
and I'm not getting on stage or anything. What I'm trying to do is get in the best shape of my life in exactly 3 months and 13 days, which is June 20th.
Okay.
So I
You
have
should
a
be able to get down to sub 10% body fat by then. You're probably close to 20% here. I'd say you could lose at least 20 pounds, in that amount of time, no problem.
great.
You'd have a good six pack and everything by then.
Awesome. That's what I want. Okay. So I have a list of questions here that I've been curious about. The first one is. So we're starting this movie out with the dreaded leg day. Dreaded for a couple reasons. One, I just hate doing them. And two, it's about 30 degrees in my garage, if that. Out of respect to Greg, I'm not going to divulge anything from that consultation that he asked me not to, but with that being said, everything that I'm going to cover as far as the training and the nutrition, he covers freely in his videos anyway. And I've never seen Greg do a leg video yet, but I do remember him saying that you want to knock out the hardest exercise first, and for me that's the hack squat. So I do 4 sets of those, and then I follow it up with the conventional leg press. As you can see here, I'm going real lightweight, just focused on the technique. And after that, I just follow it up with about 5 minutes of cardio. And that's it.
That is pathetic!
Yeah, I realize that, but I still trained harder than last time, technically, because last week I actually skipped the leg workout. Okay, so the goal is to lose 1 to 2 pounds per week while sustaining or hopefully gaining muscle.
I eat foods that I like. I like French toast with blueberries with fructose in it.
And yeah, it really helps when they also taste good, like the anabolic French toast. This meal is only like 600 calories. It's filling, low in fat.
Exactly.
But the most important thing is to feel full. You're not going to be full if you're in a caloric deficit, but when you feel full, it tricks the body into thinking you don't have to eat.
Every single sentence that this man says is exactly what I would say.
Alright, so there's been a change of plans on how we're filming this. Store hours are being reduced. My work hours are reduced. My cousin would normally film these videos, and he would just kind of observe the whole transformation as we went. But because we're all quarantined right now, I'm just going to have to do this kind of vlog style, and we'll see how it goes. I'm still going to try to do this transformation to my best ability. Obviously, I got to put my survival first because, I don't know how this thing's going to play out. I'm going to try to stick to a meal plan the best I can. So I'm at Kroger, and there's no chicken breast, there's no tilapia, not a lot of ground beef. Everything is pretty scarce right now. So I'm just going to have to improvise a little bit. And, it's crazy. I came in the morning, and they were checking IDs at the door. They were only allowing senior citizens, people that were over 60, to even come in during those hours. So if I'd come sooner, I think I would have had better luck. But this is it's just a small adversity. We're gonna have to improvise. So I ended up getting just some sliced turkey breast, high in protein, and that'll be a good change anyway. And what I plan on doing is just making them in these wraps right here, along with some spinach, maybe throw some tomatoes in there, depending on what they have in the produce. Not gonna lie, this thing's getting scary, so just in case, I'm getting some good old ramen noodles. You can't go wrong with ramen noodles. And some canned beef stew, some canned beef stew, canned green beans, stuff like that, just in case. I read something today that said that the virus is going to cause more pregnancies and more divorces than ever. And I can see why people are quarantined together. They're getting on each other's nerves more than they would. But yeah, I just crossed through the aisle and there were two people arguing. So a woman threw the debit card at the guy and told him to F off. So it's getting crazy. I wanted to show you a little bit about what I took from that Greg Doucette consultation. I already knew about how you want to get as full as you can with the least amount of calories, but he turned me on to something that I hadn't really tried, and that's this Orville Redenbacher Smart Pop. And I didn't realize it was this low in calories. I always thought like chips and popcorn and that kind of thing was kind of taboo when you're dieting, but I hadn't really looked at that. I didn't know it was that low in calories, so he turned me on to something new with that, and I can actually reward myself every day at the end of the night when I have a hard workout and when I'm doing well on the diet. It's something I can look forward to. When I did diets in the past, I stayed extremely disciplined as long as I had light at the end of the tunnel. As soon as I got to that date that I was dieting for, it was like no holds barred. It was pizza, ice cream, candy, and then it was almost like I couldn't stop. And something else I got from Kroger while I was there was some wheat bread. And no, it's not the plain ass white ass bread like he eats on his channel. If you ever watch his channel, you know what I'm talking about. But they didn't have any white bread. The shelves at Kroger are almost empty. Like I said, this virus thing is changing things. They're changing store hours. They got everybody quarantined. So it's going to be interesting on how this is going to play out. Okay, so my job is shut down completely, indefinitely because of this virus. So there shouldn't be any excuse now for me to not get in my best shape by June 20th. So I'm just trying to find the silver lining. Today I'm going to clean out my garage, and if I'm up to it, I'm going to sand it down, or at least start doing that. I have plenty of overdue projects that I need to catch up on anyway, so I'm going to work on everything I can and utilize this free time because I usually don't have it. And I'm caught up on all my schoolwork. I'm getting my papers done in time for the first time ever since I've been in college, so that's a really good plus. Oh, come to think about it, so
12 seconds later. Two hours later.
when this quarantine first happened, I thought, well, it's going to be a piece of cake now to stay in shape and to eat right, but it's been the opposite. It's been a lot harder to eat better. And just because, my wife eats pretty clean, but once in a while she likes to get pizza.
Yes, you can eat clean, which I hate that term because I don't care if I drop my food on the floor, I'll still eat it dirty. Whatever.
And she likes to buy candy and cookies and that kind of thing, and that stuff's just sitting around. So the more it's sitting around, it's almost like it's looking right at me when I walk into the kitchen. So I'm sitting around the house a lot more, and I'm laying around, so I find myself eating a lot more junk. But I just have to stay focused on that goal and not let this quarantine be an excuse to lose sight of it. So I'm just going to clean the garage out today, and if I feel up to it, I'm going to start sanding it down because that's an overdue project that I've been dreading. And I'm just going to get caught up on a lot of yard work and those kinds of things. And like I said, this wasn't the original plan for this movie, but this is what it's been reduced to. So let's go. A wise man once told me, you may feel like you've been buried, but when you feel like you've been buried, you gotta realize you haven't been buried. You've actually been planted. And when you're in quarantine, you feel trapped. You feel like the walls are closing in on you. You just got to keep that in mind. You got to realize it's only temporary. You know what I mean? TPFN. Is this all you got?
Man, that's the Charmin Ultra.
Don't use this time to freaking self-justify that it's okay to get off your training plan, that it's okay to not exercise, that it's okay to order pizza every night.
Yeah, keep. Yeah, keep my eyes on the sunrise. You keep your gaze on the moon. Will be something soon, I know, but not a moment too soon. Always praying for something, 'cause it's never enough of stuff.
So I received word that I'm going back to work on June 1st, and it's a huge relief. You know, I've enjoyed the rest, and I've enjoyed this time to just focus on getting in shape and bodybuilding. And I've learned so much about nutrition and about my body and about how nutrients and water and sodium and all these things affect the body and how it works. And I can almost get to where I can predict whether I gain 4 ounces the next day or whether I'm going to lose 4 ounces. I know that sounds crazy, but I've had nothing but time to focus on just that. So today I'm going to do chest and triceps, my favorite workout by far. And according to Coach Greg, the best 3 tricep workouts. Hey, buddy.
I was just saying, Barney.
Oh, okay. Are you going to work? All right. Okay, so today it's chest and triceps. I got my pre-workout right here, and I just received word that I'm going back to work on June 1st. And according to Coach Greg, the best 3 exercises for triceps are the push down, the skull crusher, and the close grip bench press. The best chest exercises are the flat bench, the incline dumbbell press, and my favorite chest exercise. Number one is the flat bench always, but number two is probably the cable crossover. So I'll probably incorporate that, but I'm not going to say exactly what I'm going to do because I kind of go on how I feel. When I work out, I rely a lot on my instinct and how it feels. Kind of like when you're driving a car onto the freeway and you're pressing the accelerator. Sometimes you got to push it all the way down, sometimes you go halfway, sometimes a little bit. Same thing with working out. A lot of it's based on instinct and how it feels and how the joints feel and how the blood's flowing and how this exercise feels compared to that one. So I'm sticking to his philosophy in that I'm training harder than last time. I'm still doing the fundamental exercises, but I'm also relying on my own instinct and my own experience on how I incorporate them. So a lot of times I'll do one exercise and I'll do 4 sets. Sometimes I'll do 2 sets of it. Sometimes I'll do 3. Sometimes I'll do supersets or drop sets. And like I said, it all goes by how I feel. And what Coach Greg says is the most important thing is to enjoy it. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. And Coach Greg's only a year older than me. Of course, I don't do it on his level and I don't have the accolades that he does. But as far as the amount of time I've done it for 20 plus years as well. So while I'm relying a lot on his experience and his advice, I don't want to completely discredit my own either. Say maybe a little over a year ago, I was able to incline 225 and bench press 275 pretty easily. And I don't say that to boast, I just say that to point out that I can lift heavy if I choose to. But when I'm in a caloric deficit, it's a lot more difficult. You lose a lot of strength. And not only that, but I'm getting older now. I'm 43. As I've gotten older, I've gotten wiser, and it wasn't an easy lesson. You know, I've been in and out of physical therapy now for both of my shoulders, my left calf, and now my lat's starting to bother me. So in my 30s, I would work through injuries all the time. An injury was just something that meant the next day you got to hit it harder. You know, pain was weakness leaving the body. Growing up, I had what you call toxic workout partners, guys that were way above my level, but I was in there trying to hang with them. And they would try to push me to lift the kind of weights they were. And, you know, the next day I'd show up to the gym with them and my back was hurting. Their solution was more deadlifts. It's been a painful lesson, but one that's well learned. And what I've learned, at least about myself, is I can either lift for that number or I can lift for longevity. And what I'm going to choose to do is lift for longevity. You might look at that and think, man, is it even worth it? You know, you're taking muscle relaxers at night, you're in and out of physical therapy. If it's just in the terms of getting a better physique, then no, it's not worth it. But it's so much more than just getting a better physique, at least for me. Getting a better physique is only one small part of it. To me, it's what it does internally that I love about lifting weights and about exercise. It's like a cornerstone for everything else productive in my life. You know, I feel like it makes me a better person. I feel like it brings clarity, confidence, and just momentum. I can't explain it, but it's like an escape. You know, when I get lost in it. There's almost a spiritual element to it. And if you do it for the love of it, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. I think that we're saturated with it on the social media. Somebody on the outside looking in at that can think, wow, all that hard work to achieve that, you know, but is it worth it? You know, absolutely not if it's all about the physique. And I think with some people, yeah, some people it is all about that physique. Some people are obsessed with like how much they lift and what their body fat percentage is. But to me, the physique is just one factor of it. I mean, that is what drives me. I mean, getting that better physique is just like the end result of it. You know, you can see your progress through it. But to me, the physique is just the building after you've done the hard work. You know, it's about that hard work that it takes to get there. It's about the challenge and the drive that it takes to keep pushing yourself. Is it worth it? Well, in terms of a better physique, no, it's not worth it. But as far as what else it does in my life, it's absolutely unequivocally worth it. And like I said, it's a cornerstone of everything else productive in my life. It makes me a better father, a better husband. It makes me a better employee. It makes me a better student. I could go on, but basically it just sets that table for everything else productive in my life. So, I don't know if you've watched the news, but there's a lot of crazy things going on. You know, there's meat shortages, toilet paper shortages. Here where I live in Columbus, you know, they were even looting stores in the South End. But, you know, I'm not afraid. You know, I'm not going to live my life in fear. And, you know, I don't know where you're at. Maybe you're having some similar issues where you live. I want to encourage you also to not be afraid. You know, don't let that fear grip you. This is a time where we need to be strong. I'm not going to live my life in fear. And I will not live in fear. Once you start fearing something and you start living in fear, then it kind of grabs you. It takes a hold. And I want to encourage you to not live in fear. I don't know what your circumstances are. Certainly everyone's struggling right now. Certainly everyone's going through. Hey, what the hell's that?
What are you doing?
I'm sorry, honey.
Oh, on me. What?
Anyway, I want to encourage you also to not live in fear.